Welcome back. Women make up 44% of the federal workforce. The Government Accountability Office says the last time it checked, women earn about $6,000 less than their male counterparts every year. Joanne Collins Smee is Chief Commercial Officer at Xerox. She's former head of the Technology Transformation Service at the General Services Administration. Joanne, welcome. Thanks for coming on the program. You're writing about some of the things that you encourage women in the workforce to do and empowering working women. What prompted you to want to write this piece in the first place before we talk about some of the elements of it?
I think because it's so close to home for me, Francis, being a woman. I have daughters. I work with some great female colleagues. So that's really what, what inspired me to write it.
You write under the title, What Can We Do? You write first, deliver both straight talk and encouragement. What have you seen in the workplace, both in government and out of government over the years?
I find that, and again, I have a long career, Francis. We've spoken before, so I've been in the workforce 35 years. And one thing that I found is men, and I'm making a generalization here, but often would find it difficult to have what I would say is constructive criticism for women, and would ask me, oh, Joanne, can you speak to this, one of my team members that's a woman? And I'd be like, talk to them the same way you talk to one of your male colleagues, right? So women need that same straight talk to be able to get the right, constructive criticism to help them improve in their career. So I think it's very important that, we don't shy away from that, right? That we have the same amount of feedback and assistance for women as for men.
You write that people should be sponsors and not mentors. There are a lot of mentorship programs all across the federal government. What's the difference between those two concepts, Joanne?
Yeah, to be a mentor, in my opinion, is much more passive. That's where, you might meet for a coffee. You're going to talk to them once a quarter about career goals. But being a sponsor, you are in there helping them get that next role. You are working with them and on, okay, these are the exact steps you need to take. And maybe in a meeting where there's a job opening, you are actually sponsoring that woman for the role. And when you take that active sponsorship, you're then going to be very invested in their career to help them succeed. So it's passive versus active in my mind. So I think the sponsorship is much more important.
And I wonder, too, if there's a difference in, I take your point, and I think it's well said about passive versus active, but I wonder if there's also an implication there, organizational versus more informal, where if I'm sponsoring someone, that's a real personal relationship, maybe not something born out of a structural program like a mentorship program.
That's interesting, but I've found personal and professional, are very intertwined, right? When you're at work for 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day, right? So you get to see your colleagues perform. You get to understand people's capabilities. So I think the personal and professional really become very tightly interlinked there. And yeah, you have an investment in that person then to help them succeed.
The third item that you're writing about is pushing for organizational flexibility. What does that look like in a mature, developed way, Joanne?
It's when a woman or a man, for that matter, comes and says they need help to balance their professional and their personal lives, that an organization gives that support, right? The pandemic was such a great example of that, where women and men had childcare responsibility on top of trying to run their professional workday. So as an organization, it's when an employee comes forward and says, oh my goodness, I need to get out early Tuesday and Wednesday to do X to take care of my family, that we have the flexibility in the organization to say, sure, as long as you get your work done, that idea about you being gone for X amount of hours to be able to achieve something on the personal side should be accepted. So it's much more of a blurring of the lines, in my opinion, on, work hours. It should be about the work deliverables, right? What is that team member bringing to the table, rather than being so worried about, they're logging in from, this time to this time.
We just have a little bit more than a minute left. You have 4 items at the end of this piece that you advise working women to follow. Set goals for yourself. Don't let fear hold you back. Learn constantly and give back. Is there one of those that you have found over the years has been more difficult for people to execute?
I'd say don't let fear hold you back. I think women may overthink in that I have kids. I have a sick parent. It's like, no, you're also really talented. So ask the organization for what they need. If they really want you, they're going to support you. So, take that jump, whether it's to a new company, to a new assignment, to a new country. And, it's, it'll be a good thing, right? And if it's not, you make your way back. So it's taking risks, I think, we all need to do more of.
Joanne Collins Smee, thanks very much for joining me. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you, Francis.